Now in this part we will discuss Dijkstra algorithm for single source shortest path problem. So Dijkstra algorithm basically weighted version of BFS, that is breadth first search. So as we have discussed earlier, BFS can be used to find the shortest path in unweighted graph. So there is no weight, or we can say there is unit weight in the graph, then you can use BFS. Dijkstra use when there is a weighted graph. So basically it's a weighted version of BFS. So basically BFS use a FIFO queue and Dijkstra algorithm use a priority queue. And also Dijkstra algorithm works when there is no negative weight edges. So unlike Bellman-Ford that we have seen earlier in the part 2, Dijkstra algorithm works when there is no negative weight edges. So how it works? Dijkstra algorithm maintains a set S and initially it is empty. It is used to just know the visited vertex that we have covered till now, and whose final shortest path weight from the source has already been determined. So initially it will be empty, and progressively we will select repeatedly we will select one vertex from set, so set of vertices, and we calculate the shortest path estimate, and we add that vertex to set S, and repetitively we do all the for all the vertices. And now the selection of vertex from set of vertices is based on the shortest path estimate. That is, that vertex whose shortest path estimate is minimum, we will select that particular vertex for the further processing. So how it works? So step number 1, which is common, we initialize all the vertices in the graph. So that is, we calculate two things for all the vertices, that is v dot d value and v dot pi. So initially v dot d value for all the vertices we assign infinity, and v dot pi value to nil. And for a special vertex from where we are going to start our single source shortest path, that is source vertex, we assign s dot d value to 0. So that that's all done in the initialize phase. Now as we have discussed, so we maintain a set S. Initially it is empty. It will be used to keep track of vertices that has been covered or that has been explored. Third step, basically since we want to use those vertex that has minimum shortest path estimate for further processing, we maintain a priority queue. So using priority queue, uh, we delete or we pop that particular vertex which has minimum shortest path estimate. For this process, for this implementation, we are using minimum priority queue. And initially minimum priority queue have all the vertices with initialized value, that is, for source the minimum path estimate is 0, and for other vertices infinity. Now we repetitively remove one vertex from the queue and we process. So fourth step is actually a loop. So fifth to eighth step runs till queue is not empty, and for each iteration what we do, we extract minimum vertex from v minimum based on the shortest path estimate, and that we add to the s, that so that means that we are processing, or we have processed the vertex v, and for all the vertices that are adjacent to v. So for each vertex that is adjacent to v, let's say we are calling that each vertex is v dash, we relax each edge corresponding to that adjacent vertex. And after relaxing, so in relaxing we update the shortest path estimate. So basically decreasing key value inside the So decreasing key process is done in the relax part, and the loop goes on until queue is empty. So basically that loop, while loop, will run for the number of vertices time. Okay, so now see this example. So suppose we have 5 vertices S, A, B, C, D. S is our source vertex from where we have to calculate the shortest path to each vertices, and all the edges have some weight, positive weight in Dijkstra. And after process 1, that is initialize, we have shortest path estimate for all the vertices except source is infinite, and for the source is 0. You can see we have written inside the vertex. Now after first step, so we created a queue for all the vertices based on the path estimate. So the shortest path estimate of vertex S is minimum, that is 0, and all other vertices have same infinity. So first we will remove S. So first we will remove S from the queue, which has minimum shortest path estimate, and we, for all the adjacent nodes, we relax the edges. So there are two adjacent nodes of S, A and B. So we relax two edges, these two edges, and the relax process, what it does, so shortest path estimate up to, so let's say this is U, this is V. So d dot V, that is currently it is infinite. If it is greater than d dot U, that is 0 plus 5. So yes, infinite is greater than 5, so we update d dot V is equal to 5. So shortest path estimate of node A will be 5, and shortest path estimate of node B will be 10. So you can see in this figure we have shown the updated shortest path estimate for vertex A and B. Also we have highlighted these edges to mention that the predecessor of A, so A dot pi is S and B dot pi is S. And now we have also highlighted with a different color that next which vertex will be chosen. So currently now after this we have 4 vertices in the queue, that is A, B, C, D, and A has the minimum shortest estimate, that is 5. So we will extract A from Q, and for all the adjacent nodes we update the edges, we relax the edges. So for A, all the adjacent nodes are, so this edge, that is C, this edge to V, and this 3. So these 3 edges will be relaxed for vertex A. So you can see we have updated the shortest path estimate for B, D, and C, which are adjacent to A, and we have highlighted those edges by dark color. So now in between C, B, and D we have shortest path estimate of, so now in CBD we have shortest path estimate of C, and the adjacent node, adjacent vertex of the C is D. So we will relax this particular edge, and you can see 7 plus 6 is 13, which is less than the shortest path estimate of D. So we will update 14 to 13, and you can see in the previous diagram, so initially predecessor of D was A. Now the updated predecessor of D is C, and we have shortest path estimate of this. Now in between B and D, so there is only two vertices left in the queue, and in between B and D we have shortest path estimate of B is less, so we will select B, and from B there are two edges, one is this and another is this. Okay, so there is a correction. So in for C there was another edge, but since it is going to source, and so shortest path estimate uh, cannot be updated for S because it is already 0, so we have all selected that particular edge in the previous example. So now for B we have two edges, to A and D. So shortest path estimate for D, we can see 8 plus 1 9, which is less than 13, so we will update D to 9, and we update the predecessor also. And for A, we see 8 plus 2 10, which is greater than 5, so A won't be updated, only D will be updated. So you can see the value of D is updated from 13 to 9, and the predecessor of D now changed to B. And D is the last vertex that we have in the queue, and D is extracted, and for D we have only one edge, that is this. And if we check 9 plus 4 13, 13 is actually greater than 7, so we won't update the C value, and the process will stop. So that's all. So all the black arrows are showing the predecessor and the shortest path, and the value inside the vertices are showing the shortest path estimate. So this is how the Dijkstra algorithm works. So if we talk about time complexity of Dijkstra algorithm, it depends on two things. One is how we have implemented priority queue, that is step number 3. So how we actually implement the priority queue, and how we are representing the graph. So because suppose we are implementing the, let's say a simplest implementation of minimum priority queue, we are using an array for minimum priority queue, then outer loop. So with this assumption, and we have graph as a adjacency matrix. If these two are assumptions, then the time complexity will be order of v square, that is number of vertices per square. Why? Because see, outer loop will go up to number of vertices out of v. We are extracting minimum from q, which is implemented as an array. So to find out the minimum value in an array, the worst time will be order of v. We have to scan all the values and we have to find out the minimum, so that can take order of v. And also now finding all the adjacent vertices in a graph in adjacency matrix, suppose there is a vertex v and we are trying to find out all the adjacent vertices, so we have to scan through this row, and that is actually number of vertices, so this will also take order of v. So outer loop is order of v, and there is another loop inside the outer loop which is order of v. So the overall complexity will be order of v square if we are implementing using array, minimum priority queue as an array, and adjacency matrix. There is another version that you can implement if you want to decrease the complexity. So if you want to have less complexity than order of v square, so if you want to have less complexity compared to v square, you can implement minimum priority queue using binary heap or heap. And if you are using adjacency list instead of adjacency matrix for the graph, then the overall complexity will be order of v plus e log v. So I'm leaving this to you. Figure out why the complexity is reduced to order of v plus e log v when we are using heap or heap and adjacency list for this. So Dijkstra algorithm, we have seen in Dijkstra algorithm we are Dijkstra algorithm we so in Dijkstra algorithm we have seen we are picking the vertex that has minimum shortest path estimate. So we have some greedy strategy, so that so we are actually relying on the greedy strategy where we are trying to choose that vertex that has minimum shortest path estimate. So that's why Dijkstra algorithm is a greedy method. So as we have discussed in the offline lecture and the dynamic programming online lectures, that greedy method or greedy strategies do not always return the optimal return. So greedy methods does not guarantee the optimal results. So it may or may not return the optimal value. However, but Dijkstra algorithm always gives you the shortest path estimate. So this was the Dijkstra algorithm for single shortest path algorithm. Thank you.